Kayla Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. So yeah, like Reese said, I am doing the triple bottom line presentation here today. We're going to be working on your purpose statements, and if none of that made sense, it will by the time I'm done. So I am from St. John. Well, I moved to St. John when I was 5 years old. My family's from Nagudguk First Nation, which is also known as Tobic. It's one of the 16 First Nation communities in New Brunswick. So I'm a mixed Indigenous lady. And I moved to St. John when I was 5, and I've been here ever since. So I have a background in business and event management, and it's kind of been scattered all over the place since. Has anybody, show of hands, heard of the triple bottom line? Has anyone heard of the bottom line? Almost everyone. Can someone tell me what they know the bottom line to be?
I don't know for sure, but I think it's the total after all your expenses and after your total profit after everything's said and done.
Yep.
And I think a triple bottom line would just include like the social aspect of not only your profits, but also how you profited for your community or like socially to help other people.
Exactly. That's it to a T. Thank you very much. So the bottom line, like Cole said, it's your total profit or total loss. That's this fantastic number after all your spending, all the money you made, what comes out at the end. So for like business's existence, that's what drove business. So business was on maximizing your profit. That's how it existed. That's how it started. How do I make more money? How do I make that bottom line way bigger, like as big as I possibly can get? Because that's success for people when business first started off. The triple bottom line was introduced, it's been 10, 15 years ago, but only really to New Brunswick in the last 5 to 10 years, as the 3 Ps. So profit is still one of them. The second bottom line is people, and the third is planet. People, profit, planet. Planet, people, profit. The 3 Ps. So you're driving that economic growth, which is your profit, but you're also driving impact to social settings and environmental settings. So that's your triple bottom line. At the end, it's important to have money because money keeps the lights on. Money helps you pay yourself and people make a living wage in today's society. But you're also not doing that at the expense of the environment. In fact, a triple bottom line business is in business to make money and make a difference at the same time. Okay, so on the theory aspect of this, as a business model, I wanted to show you how a social enterprise compares to a nonprofit and a for-profit. And this can help when you're trying to develop your business models and seeing what works best for you. So what we know of a social enterprise is that it has 2 main business aspects, 1 being making a profit and 2 being making a difference for a social or environmental cause. You're in business to do both, right? You're in business for both. When we head to the for-profit side, we don't see many strictly for-profit businesses unless we're thinking Wall Street traders. They're only in business to make money. It's a for-profit company that takes the responsibility of giving back to a social or environmental cause, but it's not their main line of business. So for example, Bell Alliant. They are not in business to help give back to mental health, right, with their Bell Let's Talk day every year. That's not the reason why they started the business. They want to sell phone provider services and whatnot. But yeah, so that's a corporate social responsible company. Someone who is in a for-profit company just trying to give back because they can, which is fantastic. I'm not doubting that, that's fantastic. On the other end, we have a nonprofit. So a nonprofit is a different registration when you're registering your business. You can either do for-profit or nonprofit. And the nonprofit is a company that starts with the purpose and tries to make money fit into the equation. And then you have something called an enterprising nonprofit. So they're registered as a nonprofit, but this is a corporation that has little mini businesses under it that act as a for-profit to generate money to give back to their business. So they're still they still have to show $0 at the end of the year, but they have traditionally profitable businesses. An example would be Key Industries in St. John. Has anyone heard of Key Industries? A nod. They offer programs to people who have physical and mental disabilities who are not able to carry on with the day-to-day like we can, for example. So they would do anything from social skills to building a resume to working to even daily care for people who cannot take care of themselves. Mini plug for my day job. It's actually a family business. Jolene runs Wabanaki Maple. She's my aunt. She was one of my first clients, so I helped her in the very early stages build the business, and now she's 4 years into it and super successful. She's a kick-ass lady. She has made a big difference for Indigenous people in New Brunswick. She sells maple syrup, okay? It sounds like it's normal, but she's a social enterprise. She wanted to get in business to make a difference. That was the main thing. There wasn't large, innovative businesses and entrepreneurs in the Indigenous communities. So she wanted to make a difference to start. She also wanted to give back to the environment. So I'll share a couple ways that she's done that. So her maple syrup is a little bit different. She recycles barrels that were used for bourbon and whiskey and rum. And when they're done, when those producers are done, she'll age maple syrup in them. And then she'll sell the maple syrup after they've been aged. So you see on the left, your left here, there's bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup, whiskey, and then just oak as well. So it's a high-quality maple syrup. But a lot of the work that she does tries to drive Indigenous growth in the economy and inclusion in the economy, as well as giving back to the environment. So she has a box called the Bare Roots box, which is one of her products. And then she also buys products from a handful of different Indigenous people, puts it in a box and sells it as a package. Every Bare Roots box that she sells, she buys one sapling, tree sapling, and then at the end of the year, she plants them, or we do a planting event. Last year, it was up to about 2,000 trees that she planted, which is in the Wabanaki territory, New Brunswick's Indigenous land. So that was fantastic, and that's gonna grow. Hopefully we do 5,000 next year. But that was kind of the drive behind the business. She wanted to see that inclusion. And at these events, she needs to hire people to help plant the trees. So she's hiring Indigenous people to help plant the trees, driving more growth for Indigenous communities, that economic growth. The more money Indigenous people can make, the more they can feed their families, grow their communities, that kind of thing. So that's an example of a social enterprise. It's close to home for me, in my home, beside my family home in Tobic. Yeah. Any questions so far?
Often is it that the impact that you make will dig into your profits?
That's a great question. And it's a hard question, and it's different, I think, for each business. So with Jolene, she made sure that the impact that she makes is included into the cost of doing business. So for the Bare Roots box, you know how when you try to sell a product or a service, you see how much it's going to cost, and then you increase. You would do, she sells it at a wholesale price. So she drives up the price, and she includes how much that sapling and cost will be in that price, which is traditional business. She's able to give back while making a profit off of these businesses. So it's not like, but when it came to my business, it was really hard for me to do my own personal give back because I was cutting costs so I could help be affordable for nonprofit events, right? So it depends on the business. It all in the planning, which is why I'm here right now. So I hope that answered your question. We're going to work on your purpose statement. I understand you built a mission statement. We're going to put a little bit more effort into it, and feel free to copy and paste your mission statement and revise it, change it, or use the same one, whatever works for you. But a mission statement is a sentence, one big hunky sentence that talks about how you're going to make a profit and make a difference at the same time. It talks about the problem that you're solving, how you're going to solve it, and what that looks like. So are you selling a product or service? And if so, what kind of impact do you make by selling that service and product? Alrighty, so feel free to pull out your computers. Here's those pieces again. If you need the example back on the screen, please let me know. Let's try to build that purpose statement. And if you have any questions, I will come around. Yeah, that sounds great. Does it feel good? Yeah, it looks great. You did a good job. Would it be helpful if you put it into 2 different sentences?
Oh, yeah.
Because if you wanted to split it in half, you can say, we're doing this by...
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But it looks great, yeah. Yeah, it looks great. Does it feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that looks awesome.